This is a review for the Neato D4. The D4's airflow was measured at 22 CFM. Its suction was measured at 0.24 kPa. In our carpet stress test, the D4 picked up all debris types very well. This robot has a very wide direct cleaning path as its brushable compartment extends almost along the full width of the vacuum. Its direct cleaning path is so wide, in fact, that the manufacturer didn't think it necessary to install a side brush next to its brush roll to help pull debris from the edge of the robot into its direct cleaning path. For the most part, this design works surprisingly well. However, you can definitely see the downside to it, even in this test. Note how the robot fails to pick up these few little pieces of edge debris even after running over them several times because it doesn't have a side brush. In our carpet deep clean test, the D4 picked up 9 grams of debris after 3 passes over an area of carpet embedded with 30 grams of fine debris. In our hard floor stress test, the D4 once again picked up all debris types very well. Again, it gets away with picking up most of the debris used for this test, despite not having a side brush, but again, we do see it struggling with certain edge debris because of this design. In our robot vacuum crevice test, the D4 did not perform well on default power or on maximum power. Even after extensive runtime, it still could not pull most of the debris out of the crevice used for this test on either power setting. In our human hair pickup test, the D4 picked up all the hair, but most of that hair wasn't pulled into its dustbin. 60 to 70% of the hair it picked up tangled around its brush roll and had to be cleaned off manually. In our pet hair pickup test, the D4 performed much better. It picked up and collected all of the shorter pet hair used for this test in its dustbin. We tested this LiDAR robot's cleaning efficiency and coverage in 2 different environments, an empty room and a cluttered room. In our empty room testing, we first see it passing along the edge of the room. It then moves in horizontal rows, before doing another edge pass, and moving in vertical rows. It then moves again in horizontal rows down the length of the room. In our cluttered room testing, it does well enough to move around most obstacles in this first trial, though it does push the rectangular container a bit more than most other LiDAR robot vacuums we tested as it tries to move around it. It has no trouble navigating around the chair legs and most of the table legs, though it did abruptly stop in between one of the table legs and the edge of the room with a clear my path error near the end of the run, which is interesting since the robot moved right through the same area earlier in the run without issue. In any case, we simply pressed the button on the top of the robot to resume the run, and it did without any more errors. In the second trial, the robot again passes through the same gap without any errors during the beginning of the run. It then proceeds to get complete coverage across the whole room without issue. In this third trial, the robot starts off the run well enough, cleaning very efficiently around most obstacles, but again has some trouble cleaning around the rectangular container near the top right part of the room. This time it moves the container even more than it did in the first trial. In this fourth trial, we tested the robot on its extra care setting. This setting definitely does change the robot's navigation around certain obstacles. In this trial, the robot didn't move any of the obstacles in the room at all, but it comes at a cost. The robot fails to get complete coverage around those same obstacles. Note how it fails to get coverage under the table frame, under the chair frame, and over the top right section of the room by the rectangular container. Other important specifications and test results we considered for this review are summarized here. Note especially that this is a mapping robot, and using the Neato companion app, you can set the robot to stay out of certain parts of the map. In the same chart, also note the D4's runtime, bin volume, and noise output, and how those specifications and test results compare to the average for all of the robot vacuums we've tested so far. Lastly, note the robot's diameter and height. These dimensions make the D4 one of the larger robot vacuums we've tested. Moving on to what we like and dislike about this vacuum, first let's talk about what we like. First, the D4's wide cleaning path is a definite positive. It allows the robot to cover a lot of ground very quickly and efficiently. The robot's general debris pickup ability is also very good. It does especially well on carpet, deep cleaning carpet very well for a robot vacuum. Lastly, we also like its dustbin capacity. With a volume of 700 milliliters, the D4's dustbin is almost twice the size of that of many competitors. Moving on to what we dislike about the D4, its edge performance is not very good. It also sometimes struggles navigating through tight spaces. And it's loud, even on its lowest suction setting. In terms of general recommendations, the Neato D4 is generally not recommended. Its edge performance isn't terrible, but it's bad enough that we have a difficult time recommending this robot because of it. The same can be said for its navigation. Once again, it's not terrible, but there are definite navigation issues that keep us from feeling comfortable recommending this robot to our viewers. See the description of this video for a link to the latest updated list of all of the robot vacuums we do recommend, and thank you for watching.